Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 47. To Lead a Nest. Hiccup stared at the king for a long, silent moment, then nodded his head. He had no idea what the Changeling wanted to speak with him about, but he was not going to deny the dragon. They had come. Hiccup could not recall a moment when any of Burke's human allies reacted that quickly. He also did not know when those same human allies did not make a big deal about their aid. The Changelings remained with their king, did not posture or crow. They hovered close to their king, but did not begrudge any of the nest dragons hovering near them. They even engaged in soft conversation in the old tongue with many of the nest dragons. The nest dragons returned the soft coos and croons, and none gave Hiccup the impression the Changelings were being arrogant or condescending. "We should get back," Hiccup said, realizing that many of the dragons were probably tired. They had been awake to guard the humans in the cove, and then had come to repel the invasion. Hiccup was certain they would need to get back to their dens before they dropped into the water from exhaustion. He sighed, knowing he would have to ask their help before they could get that rest. The Vikings would also need to be returned to the village. Hiccup just hoped the old Book of Dragons was right, and the Speed Stinger's sting was temporary. Then, at least, the Vikings could walk, and not as many dragons would be needed to ensure they returned to the village safely. "Alpha!" a silver and green-scaled monstrous nightmare said, moving to hover in front of Toothless and tipping his head. "The elder you named Lawkeeper said to tell you that your father and those who were stung started moving not long after you all left. Lawkeeper, the other elders, and the spike thrower you sent after your brother, and our allies, were aiding them back to their territory when we were sent to aid you." Hiccup breathed a different sigh, this one of relief. His father would be okay. He would not lose him to a dragon's attack. A weight dropped from his shoulders. He felt Astrid squeeze his waist. He covered her hands with one of his own and ran a thumb over her knuckles. She responded by shifting closer to him and laying her head against his back. Hiccup hummed and felt the thing within him purr. Sharpshot, laying in front to allow for Astrid's presence, looked up and snorted. Young," the Changeling King said, smiling. Hiccup gave his brother a frown, but smiled at the Changeling. "Would you like to return with us? You and all who came with you are welcome to stay and rest." "Thank you, young Alpha. We shall take you up on that offer." He looked at the other Changelings and began speaking to them in the old tongue. Hiccup turned to the other Night Furies. "You three are welcome to stay as well." "Thank you, Alpha of this nest," the male said. "I would like a chance to catch up with my..." "I would enjoy a chance to catch up with my brother." Toothless dropped and banked towards the island. Every dragon followed. The hardest part proved not in getting the Vikings back to their homes. The hardest part became getting all the dragons to return to theirs. Every nest dragon, even the elders who responded, and those, like Ringfire, who had watched over Pepper and Piper and Sunset and Sunrise for their guardians, and who joined in later, did not wish to leave. "Guys," Hiccup began after ensuring the 4 new humans nowhere close to the grassy area behind his house, where he had pulled the elders when it became clear none of the dragons were leaving. "You can go back home now and get some rest." "We know, Alpha," Lawkeeper said, keeping his head low. "But the nest was attacked. We are still on edge." He lifted his head long enough to look at the elder dragons, and received nods in return. He looked back to Hiccup. "This is our home, and you are all our nestmates. We want to know everyone is safe." Hiccup smiled and stepped closer to Lawkeeper. The nightmare nuzzled into his frame, and Hiccup wrapped his arms around Lawkeeper's nozzle. "This is your home, and we are all nestmates," he began softly, "but I don't think every dragon will fit in the village, and I'm sure each and every dragon still needs sleep. I don't want anyone to sleep outside where it's cold. So how about this? You all go home and sleep, and when you wake, any dragon that wants to visit the village and check up on us can do so. They can even stay in the village the entire day, but they have to return to their homes at night. Will that work?" Lawkeeper hummed and then nuzzled against Hiccup once more. "That will work. Thank you, my Alpha, for understanding
are not dismissing our concerns out of Paul.
Hiccup smiled.
I understand because I want to keep all of you safe as well. Safe and happy and free.
Lawkeeper purred.
We are all of those things, Alpha. Because of you. I know you fear the power you hold, but I know you are not that fallen queen. You are nothing like her. We willingly follow you, and will die to defend you and the others of your flock. We all abandoned her when she was challenged by your flock. Remember that, my Alpha.
Hiccup blinked as the rest of the elder dragons moved closer. Wind Dancer placed her chin upon Hiccup's right shoulder. Knowledge nuzzled into his back while Wisdom rubbed against his left shoulder. Amethyst moved under Knowledge and leaned into Hiccup's legs. Sage scooted under Lawkeeper's head and leaned into one of Hiccup's legs. Ringfire placed her chin gently upon the top of Hiccup's head.
You are not a monster,
Lawkeeper said softly. You are our Alpha. Every elder said as one. Hiccup closed his eyes against the tears.
Your son is beyond what I imagined when my son first spoke of him.
Stoic stilled the trained reaction that made him want to pull his sword. The voice came from the air that rippled before a changeling appeared. Stoic turned. The changeling smiled at him, and Stoic knew he could not get used to this surrender. And Stoic knew he would not get used to the surreal feeling of having dragons that did not want to attack. He knew it would forever surprise him that these beings he once wanted to destroy in full could forgive so freely and fight for the humans who once tried to kill them. His son was actively trying to convince the dragons to leave because they were all still worried after the attack. Stoic again wanted to slap himself and every Viking before him that thought dragons were monsters. Stoic sighed.
Once I told Hiccup I thought it was his destiny to stop the fighting. I never envisioned this.
The changeling moved forward enough so that he could sit at Stoic's side.
He will need more than your guidance.
Stoic's brow furrowed and he cut his eyes at the changeling. The dragon merely blinked slowly.
I do not say this as a slight against you. Neither you nor he knows how to lead dragons.
The changeling tossed his head towards Hiccup as the lad extracted himself under the knot of elder dragons and gave each one affectionate pats.
He is doing well, but he will still need guidance. It is funny. I never once thought I would seek to guide a human. But then, I never expected a human to touch me as your son has. Touch you?
Stoic asked, choosing to address that instead of the dragon's belief that he was not enough to show Hiccup how to lead.
I am not originally from the nest I lead. My old nest was far to the northeast, and where you all fought off dragons under the command of a fallen queen, we fought off humans who would trap and take the dragons they captured. Trap and take. They did not kill. Not at the moment of capture. We know not what happened after the dragons were taken. And it was not just my nest that faced this. Other dragons' nests faced this as well.
The changeling went silent and Stoic got the impression he was remembering those he knew and would no longer see again. Many faces ran through Stoic's mind right then, and he found himself relating fully to the dragon.
I was small when I hatched.
The dragon continued, and pulling Hiccup from memories that would live with him forever.
Many did not feel I would live to make it to youngling stage, if I made it past hatchling at all.
The dragon chuckled.
I like to think their disbelief caused me to want to prove them wrong.
The chuckles ended.
My mother was captured, and my father did not react well. A dragon in grief over their loved ones can turn on their own kind. My father's mind was not able to withstand the knowledge that he had not protected his mate. Myself and my sister were in danger due to his anger. An elder told us to flee, to remain away long enough that our king could deal with father. We did. Unfortunately, the humans found us and chased us. We were so terrified that we forgot to use our disappearing ability. Thankfully, a flock of flameskins caught the humans' attentions, and they forgot about us to chase them. I get the feeling you'd be nowhere near your old nest when you stop.
The changeling snorted.
Your feeling is right. We were actually near to this island, but an elder of the nest I now lead found us and led us away from here.
The changeling looked back to Hiccup as he got all the dragons that would not leave the village to return to their own homes. Hiccup then mounted Toothless, and the Night Fury, along with the other 3 new Night Furies, raced towards the Hoffisons, where Stormfly was recovering from the sting Hiccup said she received at the end of the battle.
When I heard your son's story about how this nest came to be, I saw myself in him. I would like to help him if I can. I know you will show him how to lead the humans. May I show him how to lead the dragons?
End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. I really like this. That dragon, he is the dragon form of Hiccup, and I can really see that, and I wonder what happened to his sister. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.